A few weeks ago, I discovered that everyone has given up on a car. So I decided to give it a second chance. And to push myself, I made a promise to go to the M-Fest with us for our first test drive. And I had to work around the clock to stay ahead of schedule. With hard work and persistence, this build has come a long way. And from here it's downhill as I can see the finish line. Or maybe what happens next might just spice things up a little. Woo! That was a massive sound. But that's not gonna stop me. So let's get this car assembled. Now that the car is freshly painted and looks showroom condition again, we are starting off by raising the car to install the subframe as well as the differential. It's just easier to fit the differential into the subframe on the floor and then raise them up as a unit. Now that the subframe is on the stand, we can go ahead by lowering the car onto the subframe. I'm carefully lining up the subframe and making sure that all electrical connections are routed in the correct place and free from mating surfaces that might end up damaging wires when caught up in between. Once I'm happy with the placement, I can go ahead by entering the bolts and then raise the car and subframe as a unit away from the stand. So subframe is in. That was super easy. It slid in like a brand new subframe on a brand new car. So let the fun begin. Let's get the rest of the stuff in the car so we can get this car mobile. Well, once this car drives, it's actually I need to move it from this side of the panel shop to the other side of the panel shop. It's actually gonna be my first test drive. Firstly, I'm reconnecting the prop shaft, which is connected with 6 bolts. Lining up the marks that I made upon removal to make sure that the drivetrain is in the same position as what it was before. Now I'm carefully popping back both drive shafts. I'm now sliding in the left suspension, just entering the 2 bottom bolts. And then we do the same on the right hand side. Well, for some reason it's not going on. So I just had a little moment where I thought this whole thing is incorrect. but I just had it at the wrong angle, so it's at the right angle now. I'm happy with that. Happy with this side also. So now I'm going to start assembling, tightening all the arms and everything at the top, getting the disc on, drive shaft nut. I still need to sort out this level sensor. I got us a replacement one. I need to sort that out as well. So let's tackle this hub, finish it off, and then move over to the right hand side. So I'm assembling the complete left rear suspension, which is held in place with 18mm bolts and nuts, as well as 21mm bolts and nuts, and the drive shaft bolt that is a 17mm Allen key bolt. Once the suspension is complete, we can go ahead and refit the brake disc, the brake pads carrier with the brake pads, as well as the brake caliper itself. So left rear is complete. I'm happy with that. Everything is on its place. I didn't tighten these bolts completely. I want to put the car down on the ground and then I'll tighten the suspension. Hey, what is this? So now we're just going to do the same on the right hand side. So let's go. The right hand side suspension is a complete repeat of the left hand side again, with the 18mm and 21mm bolts and nuts. And the brake system is also a repeat of the left hand side. 18mm bolts for the brake pad carrier and 13mm bolts holding the brake caliper to the brake pad carrier. Okay, so we've got the rear suspension in on the left and on the right. The subframe is in, but it's trailer time now, so we'll continue on Monday. But I think we've made good progress. Okay, so it's Monday and I'm back at the panel shop. Couldn't finish off the work on Saturday, so let's get cracking. Let's finish off this car and go for our first ever road test. We've got the body resealed in the wheel arches at the back, getting them to look alike and also to protect the metal. I had the incorrect bolts in the incorrect places, so I've fixed them all, put all the correct bolts in. There's our replacement sensor. And then all our new suspension components. They're in and happy, right bolts at the right places. Now we're just going to put the stabilizer bar in. The stabilizer bar is a fairly simple task. The bar rubbers that mounts to the floor is held in place with 18mm bolts, and the link rods on the ends are held in place with 21mm nuts. Stabilizer bars in and sorted. Got a new link here on the corner. Now we're going to fit the heat shields. These are our new heat shields. I'm replacing all of them. It wasn't necessary, but it just looks better. I mean, I don't go to the shop and buy myself one new shoe. I'll rather buy a pair. And I couldn't have it all shiny on the right and faded on the left. To fit the right side heat shield, I first had to refit the new bumper mount on the body before I could mount the heat shield. So I'm just busy tightening the alarm. There we go. Alarm siren is plugged in and it's tightened. Okay, so exhaust is in, heat shields, strut braces, everything is in. I was about to put the wheels on, and as I walked through the wheels, came across these two buggers. And where do they go? Right here behind the exhaust. So now I need to take everything out to get those buggers in here. I'm so happy. This is so amazing. Let me jump onto that. Let me get those, let me get everything off and get it in. Now I'm busy undoing all my hard work to get these two heat shields back in their place, and I cannot leave them out as they are the only protection between the flammable fuel tank and the super hot exhaust system. I don't know about you, but to me it sounds dangerous. Now I'm getting these buggers back in where they belong to prevent the car from blowing up. And then we can redo all the hard work that we just had to undo. Take two on the exhaust. And then we can redo all the hard work to get everything back into the car. Okay, so this is the final wheel, and when we put this wheel on, then this car can finally turn under its own power. I'm excited. Very noisy, yeah? 1, 2, 3. Whoa! So after spending a bit of time on this wheel, something is not happy over here. I'm gonna have to look at these brakes. I actually think that this brake on this side caused the accident, but I've got it, it's working now, so let's go for our first test drive. Come check out my seat. Bucket seat, hugs my back. Here we go. First test drive. So I can't really push the car. I can't push the car at all because the whole rear suspension is actually still loose. I just entered all the bolts. I want to leave that for the wheel alignment, for the guys to set up the subframe in the correct position, tighten it, and then tighten the whole rear suspension when the car's loaded on the ground. But for now, we just want to make sure that that diff is fine. But I didn't hear any noises except for stones being thrown up into the arches, but there's no wheel arches in at the moment, so basically the stones are hitting the bare metal. But she feels good. So this is definitely not your typical first ever test drive in an M, but this is my typical first ever test drive in an M, and I'm excited. I'm happy with this car at the moment. It really feels good. I wish we could push this car, but I don't wanna break something and then we don't make it for the M Fest. So for now I'll be cautious, I'll be gentle. Ooh, I can feel that 413 kilowatt is there.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
Woo! That wasn't a good sound. That wasn't a good sound at all. What was that? What the heck was that? I hope it's not the diff. Whew! Phew! That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good at all. I just gave it a bit of power. I hope it's not the diff. I really hope so. Oh, that was a massive sound. That was a massive sound. The disc still feels okay. It's not much heat over here. Let's check the other side. Okay. I think we should go park this car, but I'm kind of worried about that sound. I don't know what it was, but that was a massive clunk from the back. I know that the whole rear suspension is loose, but that didn't sound like a loose rear suspension. That sounded like drivetrain related or something. I don't know. It's got me a bit worried. I mean, we don't have a lot of time left on this car, so I really hope it's just the rear suspension that's loose. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to pull some strings on this car. Some late nights again. Let me go park this baby. Let the panel shop finish off what they need to do so that we can get this car back, get it assembled and take it for a long road trip to the M-Fest. That'll be a wrap for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If this is the type of content that you like, hit that subscribe button and I will see you guys in the next one, where hopefully this car will be finished and we can take it for our first ever test drive to the M-Fest, because the M-Fest is very close. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.